Hello fellow YouTubers, Lionel Gecko here, bringing you the explanation video for some of the choices that I've made with the deck. Now first off, I guess the most controversial would be, why am I running Hand Destruction in almost any deck that's not Dark World? Well, Hand Destruction back in the day could be seen as a bad card since you had to depend on your opponent having hand, and you usually don't want to depend on your opponent at all. Also, making your opponent send cards from his hand to the graveyard, not necessarily the best thing, especially during times like the Dark World, the Light Sworns, the Dark Graveyard Control deck, like the Dad. Now, nowadays though, I think it's a good card to run, especially in zombies. In a deck like this, you usually want as many cards in your graveyard as possible, but you don't want to mill them. You want to be able to go ahead and use them if you can. So getting those Mizukis, Zombie Master, Plague Spreader, Beast of the Pharaoh to the graveyard is a really good thing. Now, this in combination with the Reckless Greed comes in very, very handy. You use your Reckless Greed, Hand Destruction the cards that you don't want, hope to draw into another Reckless Greed to keep the cycle going. As far as your opponent goes, nowadays, your opponent usually doesn't overextend. They try to keep a little bit in their hand so they can come back from whatever it is that you did during your turn. The only time that they'll go all out will be whenever they're trying to finish you right then and there. So in their hand they'll keep like the key card to their victory, like they'll summon Shooting Quasar Dragon, but they'll keep that Bloodluster Soldier in their hand just in case. Hand Destruction, those are the only cards in their hand. You just got rid of their comeback. Or if they have a trap, a hand trap, kind of like a Max C, which is completely gonna ruin your day because you're gonna synchro summon, special summon 20 times in this one turn. You got rid of it already. So Hand Destruction helps a lot. Now the Reckless Greed, the deck is a little bit slow and it does help a lot with those Hand Destructions over there, so that's pretty much spoken for. The Zombie World, a lot of players believe that field spells seem to be kind of slow unless they directly affect the deck in some way, like how much support Necro Valley gives to the Gravekeepers, or Dragon Ravine helped out dragons. Zombie World is more of a restrictive card. I've usually seen it in side decks mostly, just to stop you from being a winged beast, or stop you from being anything, whatever Bujins are, Beast Warrior. So Zombie World's main effect is that it turns everything on the field and in both players' graves into a zombie. Now cards like Zombie Master and Illblood can revive monsters from both players' graveyards as long as they're zombies. So Zombie World opens up that door where you can use your opponent's material against them. Zombie World also prevents your opponent from tribute summoning. Sometimes they have a good monster that'll do it, like if you're playing against Frog Monarchs. Mobius can't even get rid of your card because he can't be tribute summoned. Caius, same thing, most of your deck's dark, get rid of him. Now, the MVP for the deck has to be Beast of the Pharaoh. For those of you who don't know about it, it was a pretty unnoticed card a long time ago. Beast of the Pharaoh's Earth, level 3, 400 attack, 600 defense. Now, when this card is used for a synchro summon and sent to the graveyard, you can then special summon a level 4 or lower zombie type monster from your graveyard onto the field. This means if you synchro with him and Plague Spreader Zombie for TG Hyper Librarian, Beast of the Pharaoh's effect activates and you can special summon Beast of the Pharaoh or Plague Spreader or any other monster that you want. So you can just keep on going from there. For instance, one of the things that happens the most for me is I'll have a Zombie Master on the field because Pyramid Turtle put him there, or a Book of Lifedom or whatever, and I discard a monster to special summon Plague Spreader Zombie or Beast of the Pharaoh. I'll use a Mizuki or another Book of Life to revive whichever one of the two I didn't. Now I synchro for 5 with Plague Spreader and Beast. By Beast's effect, I bring out himself. It's probably TG Librarian that I brought out. Now I'll use either Plague Spreader's effect if I have to, or another card to revive like Soul Charge or anything like that, another Mizuki, I burn through my cards a lot because of the hand destruction and the reckless greed, so it happens a lot. So I revive Plague Spreader Zombie. Now I have a 3, a 4, and a 2. Synchro for 9. Bring out the Mist Worm. Mist Worm sends 3 cards from your opponent's side of the field back to the hand. So field's cleared, you're ready to attack. You also got to draw a card, for the TG Librarian's effect. And by Beast of the Pharaoh, you can still revive a monster again. If you didn't use Plague Spreader's effect, you can revive Plague Spreader. You can then draw another card by synchroing for anything else that you can try. Like let's say you soul charge, you decide not to attack, you just got to get rid of some monsters that are like a Silent Honor Arc or whatever. So you can go ahead and use your soul charge to synchro even more. Or if you want a better beat stick than the Mist Worm, you trade up for Star Eater with Mist Worm and a Plague Spreader. Or if you just want to go for a little bit more damage with that Plague, you go for TG into Dark Strike Fighter. Attack with both, then Dark Strike Fighter tributes the Mist Worm for 1800 more damage. Something like that. Now, as some of you may have noticed from the very few videos I've posted so far, I do prefer to make a budget build. That's why it's Beast of the Pharaoh, not Destiny Hero Malicious or anything like that. I like to make decks that can be more accessible to a lot more people for a lot less money. So, in that case, 2 level 3 Dark Tuners that can either defend themselves a little or be special summoned rather easily. Not zombies, but easy to get. Not Unizombie, but will still help. Now, as far as Illblood goes, Illblood is pretty much just there because he's Illblood. He's one of the most popular, famous zombies from way back in the day. He's a level 6, which lets me play with my levels a little bit easier. In case I'm struggling, I need to get that Dark End Dragon on the field, or that Bales to protect myself. Instead of having to climb up the ladder, synchroing for 6, then reviving a 2, then synchroing for 8. I can just revive him, Gemini summon him, revive my level 2 Plague Spreader or Pain Painter, and go from there. Alright, so that's pretty much the explanation for all of the cards that I chose. If you still have some questions about some of the other cards that I may have chosen, or why there's no Xyz in my extra deck, that's because I don't necessarily like them. They're useful, but I'm a synchro guy. Comments down below or message me with anything. This is Lionel Gecko signing off.